Welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to see the constant current bias circuits. Already we have seen the differential amplifier configurations, and in that one of the configuration for which we have derived the AC and DC analysis, and we have found from the DC analysis the operating points ICEQ and VCEQ, and from AC analysis the voltage gain, input resistance and output resistance of the dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Now the next point that we are going to cover here is constant current bias circuit. So as we know that in differential amplifier the combination of emitter resistor RE and VEE is used to set up the DC emitter current. Use of constant current bias circuit to set up the DC emitter current, and this circuit provides current stabilization and in turn assures a stable operating point for the differential amplifier. Here we can see the differential amplifier which is in the dual input balanced output configurations having two input signals, and output is collected across the two of the collectors C1 and C2. The emitter resistor RE, now here we are replaced with a constant current bias circuit with resistive load. That is, this transistor Q3 is replacing the emitter resistor RE here. So this circuit is nothing but a constant current bias circuit where we have connected the emitter resistor RE to the emitter of Q3. R2 is the another resistor which is connected to the base terminal, and R1 is connected. So this R2 and R1 again will constitute a voltage divider. Now we are going to see the operation of this constant current bias circuit. As we know this, the figure is nothing but a dual input balanced output differential amplifier using resistive constant current bias circuit. So the DC collector current, that is this DC collector current in the transistor Q3 is established by resistor R1, R2 and the resistor RE. So as this is again an emitter follower transistor, the collector current of transistor Q3 is equal to the emitter current of transistor Q3. That is, we can say that IC3 is equal to IE3. So now here we are going to apply the voltage divider rule to the base of transistor Q3. As we have seen in the earlier diagram, the collector of transistor Q3 is connected to the junction of Q1 and Q2's emitter. So now when we are applying voltage divider rule to this circuit, that is to the base of transistor Q3, now at this point we got a voltage which is base voltage of transistor Q3 denoted as VB3. How we can find out this voltages? See that here this R1 resistor is connected to minus VE supply, and there is the another resistor R2. So R1 and R2 will constitute a voltage divider network, and we got this voltage VB3 at the base, and this voltage is, when we are calculating with respect to ground, is nothing but voltage across the resistor R2. So we are applying voltage divider rule, that is finding out the voltage across resistor R2 is nothing but the base resistor of transistor Q3 VB3. So that voltage across R2 is R2 divided by total resistance, that is R1 plus R2 into the input to this circuit is minus VE. So VB3 is equal to minus R2 into VEE divided by R1 plus R2. So that now we have to find out the emitter voltage of transistor Q3. So voltage at this point, that is VE3, is because of the base voltage of transistor Q3. As there is some voltage developed at this point, this will cause the transistor to turn on, and in between the base and emitter of transistor there is some voltage drop, and this voltage drop we are calling as base emitter voltage VBE3. So voltage at emitter available is nothing but voltage at base minus voltage drop between the base to emitter junction of transistor Q3, and the available voltage is VE3. So how we can write the equation for VE3 is VB3 minus voltage drop between base to emitter of transistor Q3. That is VB3 minus VBE3 is nothing but emitter voltage VE3. Now we know here the base voltage by voltage divider rule is having this value. Substitute this one here and we got VE3 is equal to minus of R2 into VEE divided by R1 plus R2 minus VBE3. Now next, what is our aim here is to find out the current through the emitter of the transistor Q3. So that now see here, as we have already find the emitter voltage, we want to find out the current through the emitter resistor RE. So current flowing through this resistor is nothing but, how we can find out is voltage at this point minus voltage at this point divided by the resistance of the branch. So this is the current flowing through this resistor RE. So IE3 is the current flowing through resistor and this is VE3 minus VEE divided by RE. And we know that for transistor Q3, IC3 current is equal to IE3. So we are writing equation as IE3 is approximately is equal to IC3, and this is nothing but emitter voltage VE3 minus of VEE, that is voltage at this point is minus of VE divided by resistance of the branch RE. Now we already find the value of VE3, substitute into this equation and this minus of minus VE will become positive. So we can rearrange the equation for IC3 is plus VEE minus for VE3, now we have substituted R2 into VEE divided by R1 plus R2 minus VBE3 divided by RE. So now we know that for a differential amplifier, the two halves of the differential amplifier are symmetrical, that is both the transistors Q1 and Q2 are symmetrical. So each has half of the IC3 current. So as we know that IC3 is the current flowing through the emitter of transistor Q3. We'll see the diagram, then you will get better idea. And this current is nothing but current from the emitter of transistor Q1 plus current from the emitter of transistor Q2. See here, this IC3 current is nothing but IE1 current plus IE2 current. So that we know that these two transistors are identical. So half of the current IC3 is flowing through the emitter of Q1 and half of the current is flowing through the emitter of Q2. So that we can write the equation here for IE1 and IE2 also. So this current values we are writing here as IE1 is equal to IE2 is approximately is equal to half of the current IC3 by 2, and which is equal to my VEE minus R2 into VEE divided by R1 plus R2 minus VBE3 divided by 2 RE. What happens is IC by 2 we are writing here, so here only 2 will come to the denominator. Now we got the both currents. So the collector current IC3 in transistor Q3 is fixed and must be invariant because no signal is injected into either the emitter of the base Q3, and thus the transistor Q3 is a source of constant emitter current for transistors Q1 and Q2 of differential amplifier. This circuit also provides a very high source resistance. So now we have seen the resistive constant current bias circuit, but to improve the thermal stability of the constant current transistor Q3, resistor R1 is replaced by diodes D1 and D2, and the base of Q3 is biased with the voltage divider containing components R2, D1 and D2. Diodes D1 and D2 help to hold the emitter current IE3 constant and even though the temperature changes. So I1 flows to the node at the base of Q3 and then divides into paths ID and IB3. We'll see this with the help of diagram, that what should be the circuit when we are replacing R1 by the two diodes D1 and D2. If temperature of Q3 increases, its base emitter voltage VBE3 decreases. This reduced VBE3 tends to raise the voltage drop across emitter resistor RE and hence the current IE3. The voltage drop across diode D1 and D2 also decreases and maximum of IE2 contributes to the diode current ID. This causes IB3 to decrease, which prevent any significant increase in IE3 current. See here what happens when there is increase into the temperature. If temperature of Q3 increases, its base emitter voltage VBE3 reduced. So maximum current will be flowing through the base emitter and this reduced current raises the voltage drop across emitter resistor RE. So across RE there is increase into the voltage drop. So again there is increase into the IE3 current. But what is our aim here is to maintain the emitter current constant. Thus the voltage drop across diode D1 and D2 also decreases and maximum I2 current contributes to the diode current. So as diode current increases, IB3 current reduced and which prevents the significant increase in IE3. So now we'll see the diagram, then you will get the better idea. What we did here is this resistor R1 is replaced by diode D1 and D2. Okay. So now what happens is the emitter current IE3 that we have to determine here is, first of all, the voltage at the base of transistor Q3, that is VB3, and voltage drop VD is voltage drop across the diode D1. What is our statements here for the constant current bias with diodes is, for the improvement in the stability, thermal stability, we have did the replacement of R1 with diode D1 and D2. So what we said is, if temperature of transistor Q3 increases, its base emitter voltage VBE3 decreases. If this voltage drop across this decreases, then what happens is this reduced VB3 will cause the increase into the voltage drop across this resistor RE. If voltage drop across this will get increased, IE3 current also increases. But our aim here is to maintain the constant IE3 current. So that what happens is the voltage drop across diode D1 and D2 will also decreases here. As this voltage drop across RE increases, voltage drop across diode and D2 decreases. If voltage drop will get reduced, maximum current component of I2 will be flowing through the diodes. So maximum current flowing through the diode and hence there is no any increase into the IB3 current. And because of this IB3 decreases and which prevents the significant increase into the IE3 current. Got it? How it happens is, if there is any increase in temperature also, because of these diodes, with increase in temperature of Q3, diode drop reduced and maximum current will be flowing through the diodes and that will prevent the IB3 to increase and eventually IE3 will not get increased. Okay. So now we'll see how this will get maintained. We know that voltage at the base VB3 is minus VE plus 2 into VD. That from this we can find out what is the input signal source is minus VEE that we have provided here. So because of this minus VE, voltage will be available at the base of transistor Q3 and there are two diodes. So there is, if we consider VD is the voltage drop across one of the diode, then VD plus VD is 2 VD voltage drop will be there. So minus of VE plus 2 VD voltage drop is voltage available at base. So VB3 is minus of VE plus 2 VD and emitter voltage is voltage at this point minus this voltage drop. What is that? VE3 is VB3 minus VBE3. Now VB3 is minus VE plus 2VD. So it is minus VE plus 2VD minus VBE3. Hence, we have to find out the current flowing through this emitter resistor RE. IE3 is equal to voltage at this point minus this voltage divided by resistor. That is VE3 minus of minus VE divided by RE. And now we are going to substitute the value of VE3 into this equation. That is this equations into this. So the base of transistor Q3 has the same characteristics as the diode D1 and D2, and that is if we are here assuming that voltage drop across diode is equivalent to the voltage drop across base to emitter junction of transistor. So that is VD is equal to VBE. Then we are writing for IE3 is, what is the equation? Go to the previous slide. So what is this equation is minus VE plus 2VD minus VBE3. If this VD is equal to VB3, this will become minus VE plus 2VD, again minus this, for this we are replacing as VD. So minus VD, it means that minus VE plus VD will be VE3. When we are substituting here, this VE3 is minus VEE plus VD minus of minus plus VE. So what is remaining is only VD voltage will get remained as minus, and this plus will get eliminated. So now my I3 current is VD by RE. We'll see here. So what is the equation is 2VD minus VBE3 divided by RE. So IE3 is voltage drop across diode divided by RE. Thus for a given value of emitter resistor RE, the emitter current IE3 depends on the voltage drop across the diodes. This equation will tell us that for any given value of RE, this emitter current will depends on the voltage drop across the diodes. Thus voltage drop across diode is a function of the diode current ID. As we know that here ID is part of the I2 current, and which is determined by the value of R2. Okay. So ID is nothing but a small part of I2 current I2, and I2 will be determined by the resistor R2. We can change the value of emitter current IE3 by varying either the R2 resistor or the RE resistor, as I3 will depend on RE and this I3 will depend on RE, we know it, but the diode current or diode drop, again what is this is voltage drop across diode is function of diode current, and diode current is the part of I2. I2 will be dependent on R2. So eventually we can say that here I3 will depend on the R2 and emitter resistor RE. The same constant current bias circuit we can design with the help of Zener diode. What we did is initially it is resistive, then resistors for thermal stability we are replaced with the two diodes, and now we are replacing both the diodes with a Zener diode. The same equation will be there irrespective of 2VD. Now we have the VZ voltage drop across the Zener diode. So the Zener diode is used in place of diodes only, and the voltage at the base of transistor Q3 is, we as usual how we are writing the voltage here is this VB3 voltage is minus VEE plus voltage drop across this Zener VZ, and the voltage at the emitter is this voltage VB3 minus VB3 minus VBE3, and VE voltage is minus VE plus VZ minus VB3. Here Zeners are available with different voltage drop or different voltage capabilities. So this VZ will not become here is equal to VB3. Therefore, how we are going to find out the emitter current IE3 is voltage VE3, this voltage minus voltage at this point minus of minus V divided by RE. And substituting and simplifying for IE3, we got It is Vz minus VBE3 divided by RE. Let's check out what is I3 is VE3, and VE3 is minus VEE plus Vz minus VBE3. So this minus and this minus plus. Now what we are going to do is we are replacing this VE3 with this equation, in which we have this is negative value, this minus will become plus, so VEE will get eliminated, remaining is Vz minus VB3 divided by RE. So it is Vz minus VB3 divided by RE. The value of R2, this R2 resistor should be selected such that current I2 is approximately equal to 1.2 of IZT. IZT is current flowing to the zener, where IZT is minimum current required to cause the zener diode to conduct in reverse region. Minimum current required to conduct in reverse region for the zener diode, and to block the related voltage Vz. Thus, the value of R2 is calculated using equation. Here we have to find out R2, and this R2 will be find out as voltage at this point is Vz minus VE plus Vz, that is VB3 voltage, VEE minus Vz divided by R2, because voltage at this point is 0. So VB3 minus 0 divided by R2, or that is I2 current we can find right here. So this is the R2. Zener diode is useful for maintaining a constant base voltage and in turn the constant emitter current in a constant current bias circuit.